Well, good morning, everyone. I was trying to come up with a theme for today, and I was drawing a blank, and then God says, "Are you not paying attention?" I'm looking around and going, "What? It's raining. It won't stop raining. No, we're not going to get another flood," because He promised we wouldn't do that. But the point of the matter is, I'm going to turn my windshield wipers on. I'm in the car because that tent is still too noisy, and hopefully this isn't. I'm just kind of driving around because it won't stop raining. And He says, well, how do you think the end times are going to be? And I'm going, oh, you mean like, Revelation 6? These are just horse riders. Can't be that bad, can it? Yes, it can be. I'm going to put my seatbelt on only because I'm not really paying attention because I'm doing the video. One of the guys I like to watch does from his pickup, he does his videos sometimes. And I don't mind that. I don't seem to hear his vehicle that much. And hopefully you can't hear the rain that's coming down because I should be putting my windshield wipers on full. I guess I'm going to have to do that. So you can hear that maybe in the background. The fact that I can put it on full is because it's substantially raining and there's a larger band. I guess that's what I want to call it. The hurricane itself is gone. It's north. But these are just bands that it's sweeping up. And I'm going to go down to the point where I like to film from. And I guess I might just go down there and park, finish this video, and then let you see a little bit about what it looks like. This rain is not filling up the reservoir, or the lake that's here. It's going to raise it a little bit. It's hard to imagine just how much rain comes down and it doesn't affect the level of the lake. Because they're still draining it. And it's going to drain all this year until they fix the dam, which probably won't be fixed until next year. It looks like I'm good here until the end of November. Then after that, I need to decide what I'm going to do. If I got to go back to my state park camping, which is great, I just can't set up a base camp. My little mini fridge was delivered today to my son's house. So I'm going to go over there and get that tomorrow when we go to church. And I'm supposed to get some more pads. I'm going to put some pads down so that I can keep my floor insulated through the winter. Okay, I'm just going to pull over here and I can let you see what that looked like. I'm looking at one crane, two cranes. Okay, I'm stopped. Okay, so the bottom line of all this is God says, when this stuff starts, it is not going to let up. That's the key. We look at this stuff and we go, well, this stuff could happen over the course of 7 years. Well, the end of the seals is a long ways away. However, you could have the first 6 seals happen in the first 6 months. Boom, boom, boom. There's not going to be a let-up. People aren't going to be able to go, oh, I didn't think I was going to make through that. They're going to end up saying, oh, wait, God help us, please. We can't survive this. And that's the intent, is to get them to call out to God. Now, the Antichrist is going to be here. And he may help quell some of it. My nose is running and I don't want to sneeze again, because I have one of those loud sneezes. Okay. The first thing we see is the rider, the white horse, the Antichrist. So he's coming in. Is that the beginning of his reign? We're not really sure. But in these seals, a quarter of the world's population dies. That's going to be a big thing. I'm assuming, because that's the way it reads, that the rapture will be before all this, so don't worry. And then the trumpets come in. Those are going to be after that. If you want to see the seals, go to Revelation 6. The trumpets follow. Those two things alone are going to kill off half the world population. God will have their attention. I'm going to turn off my wipers. I don't need them while I'm not moving. It is going to be very, very dangerous. There's going to be a number of things killing people. Potential of war and pestilence. It's not going to be like COVID. COVID, for all practical purposes, was just a special variation of the flu. It was affecting people that were susceptible to problems with their immune systems, things like that. The flu kills people. And COVID is just kind of a variation of that. The stuff that's coming, it's going to be like the Great Plague in Europe. There's a nursery rhyme about that. And we all fall down at the end of the nursery rhyme. They're all dead. They did a nursery rhyme about the plague. Great. But that's going to be easy compared to what's coming. Because they had no way to know that the plague was caused by fleas, which were on the backs of rats. The places that had cats, the people survived better because the cats ate the rats. And apparently the plague didn't affect the cats. Or if they did die, there was enough of them to cover it. In any case, this is going to be far worse. We're not going to have any faith in the government, if there's anything left of our government by that time. You got to remember, this last election, when Biden got into office, he wasn't elected by the people. He was put in place by the ruling authorities. And that may, if they go through with the election, that may be what happens this year. We won't have any control over it. Satan is good at what he does. Never underestimate him and his power. God keeps him in his place. But God is basically, stand back, Satan, you can do whatever you want. Give it your best. Because that's what the people want. Listen to them out there when they're rioting and marching. Kill the Jews, kill the Christians. We don't want God. We hate God. Listen to them. If that isn't Satan, I don't know what is. And he's gotten into their minds. God's allowing them to be delusionalized. I don't know of any other word for that. He's letting them see whatever they think they want to see. And when we go, that's going to be aliens, probably. They keep talking about them. They keep saying they've got more and more evidence. They keep saying they spotted an unidentified flying object over New York or whatever. We get this every month or so. Brainwashing. This is how propaganda works. I was talking to the guys there at the... We get up early and have coffee and talk over world events as if we're going to change anything. And of course I bring God into it, but I have to kind of keep it secular because I don't always know who I'm there with. God is always in there, but I don't necessarily mention him. It's like the book of Ruth. God is not mentioned, but is a perfect story of Jesus and salvation. Any case, we're talking, and one of the guys goes, Biden is causing all this stuff. How does he plan? What's he use for a plan? I go, it's real simple what he's using for a guide. Mein Kampf, Karl Marx. Rules for Radicals. These are their guidebooks. And they've got this planned out. They have had this planned out for some time. When they approved Obamacare like that, 500 pages, read it and sign it tomorrow. That's what they did to the other party, which of course they didn't. It was short one vote from the Supreme Court to be enacted because the president should not be able to do what he did with Obamacare. It was one vote short. The one vote that was holding out, they had a meeting with him, and the next day he approved it. They probably threatened to skin him alive and his family and his dogs and his cats and his horses. They probably threatened him with everything they could threaten him with, and they have the power to do that. So he voted to allow it to go into effect. Now, Congress has shut it down for the time being because they've taken the money away. But it's still in effect. It hasn't gone away. It's just waiting for money. And if they get complete power, they may choose to enact it. Of course, Congress has a far better health plan than the one that they want to give us. They've got the Cadillac health plan. They want us to have the Volkswagen version. I'm not putting down Volkswagen, but it is a cheap car made by a communist type dictatorship. It's called, the Volkswagen is the people's car. It was made for the average everyday person. No frills. You won't find air conditioning in a stock Volkswagen. You can put it in afterwards, but you won't find it. And they are so easy to work on. My neighbor had a Volkswagen. He'd go out, take out 4 bolts, pull the engine out, and bring it in and set it on the kitchen table and work on it. The people's car. Okay, so anyhow, the bottom line is that this is not going to let up. This is why I'm telling you to leave resources for those left behind. The food supply is going to go away. I mean, $5 for a dozen eggs, it's almost gone away anyway. I had my second steak. I cooked 2 steaks, 2 New York strips. They're just small steaks. I cooked them up in my new air fryer. I may show you a picture. I was surprised. I've never used an air fryer before, but because of my diet, I can't eat greasy foods. So the air fryer seemed to get rid of the grease. So I've effectively cooked 2 things out of it. I've only had it a couple of days. And I don't have my refrigerator yet. It's been delivered, and if it doesn't die out in the rain, I don't know if my son's going to bring it in or not. He's not the best at communicating. But once I can actually keep food in my refrigerator, my cooler is okay, but it's top down. I don't know what I've got in there unless I empty it every time I need to go make something. It's a pain. So it's worked up to this point, but as long as I have a base camp, I want a refrigerator. You want to help pay for it? It was $200. Okay. And I'm only going to be able to use it till the end of November. Then I'll have to put it in storage if they shut this place down. It's possible they won't, but they might. If they do shut it down, I got to go back to my 2-week at a time camping at the state parks until March when they open it back up. And they probably open it up a week or so ahead of time. This year, they were arguing over pay, whether the guy would come back or not, because he was wanting to retire, and so it opened in April. But he knows what he's going to do now, and if they negotiate properly, then he'll come back. So anyhow, December, January, February, I'll have to be on my own. That's 3 months. I've done it. I did it for 2.5 years before I came over here. So I can go back to doing it again, but I got to lighten my load. So the bottom line is, it's important that you warn people. They may laugh at you. Let them laugh. The last laugh is on you, though. Don't worry. But we'll be laughing from heaven. I don't know that we'll be laughing, now that I think about it. I don't know if we're going to know what's going on. If he's going to wipe our tears, then you better not let me see what's happening down here. I don't know. It's the future. There's some things that are definite. We get a new heaven and an earth and a beautiful new Jerusalem. We have 1,000 years to go through down here on this earth, current earth, as it is before it's destroyed. But I don't know. There's too many gaps. It's not important for us to know. God tells us what we need to know. It's not going to be pleasant. But are we going to be able to see? Are we going to be able to pray for people from heaven? We still got loved ones down here? I don't know. I wish we did know. Maybe he doesn't want us to know because he's a loving God. We have to trust him. Okay. I wanted to have an organized lesson again today. Tomorrow, I'm going into town to take my son to church. He still doesn't have a car. I got to get him something sometime soon, I think. Although, if he has a car, there's no need for me to run into town, and I do like spending time with him, so I'm kind of mixed on that. It'd be nice if he could drive a little bit, but he hasn't done any of his donations, but I've continued to drive in to sit with him and help get him over this. He was feeling better yesterday, and I'm hoping that he's feeling better again tomorrow. If that's the case, then we're just slowly getting back. He's got to learn to work through this. I know if I eat the wrong thing, it can set my gut off, and I can be all messed up for about a week. But he's not the mindset of an adult. He's been protected by his mother too long. I know that if I don't feel good, unless I'm dragging a leg behind me, and that might not be bad enough, I still have to go to work. 4 feet of snow outside on one night. Are you coming in today? I can't even get out of the driveway. I've had that here. A lot of what I did, though, because I was IT, I could do from home. So I'm kind of been fortunate that way, but he's had people that they do outdoor work all the time because the company that I used to work for, head of their IT, they did gas line installations. They're working outside in whatever the weather is. But they have big trucks, big tires, they can get to where they need to go. And these guys work outside all the time are tough. I'm a wimp when it comes outside. I don't mind being outside in nature if it's raining, thundering, snowing, anything. I just don't want to work in it. because whatever it is, I'm going to be dressed for. I've got plenty of winter clothing. I'll have to go swap out. I got to go to the storage and start swapping out. But we've had some cool weather. I think next week we're going to get up into the mid-80s again. It's not time to get rid of my air conditioning yet. But maybe by the end of the month I'll take the air conditioning out. I've already got 2 heaters in the tent. They kind of just stay there. They move with me whenever I move. And I may turn one of the heaters on in the morning just to kind of take the chill off the air before I get up. But I don't run them at night when I'm sleeping. All right. This is kind of a chat. I'll put a little quick video at the end. It's still pathetic. The water that you see out here. You could literally walk completely from one side to the other. There's nothing out there too deep. Now there's a couple of spots in the channel area and I'm looking at it, and it might be 2 feet deep. But the rest of the lake, no more than a foot. A lot of it is, 5-6 inches deep. That's it. Because I see the cranes standing out there in the water. They're out in the middle of the pond that's left, and they're standing in the middle of the lake. Their legs aren't that long. All right, everybody. This is kind of how it's going to be. It's going to be non-stop, one thing after another. They're not going to get a breather. God's going to say, you want the world without me? Here it is. And a lot of what's going to happen is going to be man-made. That's the sad part. The wrath of God, that's after they build the temple. The Jews are going to be excited because they're going to build their temple in their 7-year peace plan. Again, the last laugh is on God on that. Be concerned about the people. Everything is happening is because of the grace of God. We're already saved, but the world is not. And this is a wake-up call. Pray they wake up. That's what you can do. Don't pray for it to get better, because that's not the plan. God's plan is to make it bad so that people will turn to Him. If it stays like it is, people are going to continue to turn away. It is fixing to get hell on earth, literally. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless. All right, here's a little footage in the other direction. There's my tent up underneath that tree. It's a beautiful spot. While we were talking this morning over coffee, we had deer in our camp. Right there, 20 feet away. You're not looking at a real clear video because the windshield is covered in water there. That's better. I am dry. My tarp is not big enough to cover the whole tent, but it's not designed to do anything like that. It's designed to keep the sun off the tent so that it doesn't break the fabric down. Okay, I'm back. One last. Have a blessed day, everyone. We're going to be okay. Pray for the world. Blessings.